Right, let's go ahead and have a look at the ServiceGuru Purchase Order Generator, understand a little bit about what it does and how we use it. So in order to start using the ServiceGuru Purchase Order Generator, we need to start off by going to add-ons and ensuring that we've set up our suppliers within the add-on itself. So we go into our add-ons tab on the top of the page, we go to our ServiceGuru Purchase Order Generator, and we will see here that we have a tab called suppliers, and we need to ensure that we have added our suppliers before we start using the purchase order generator. In the system already, we've got two suppliers that we've created earlier, and so we're going to start off by going to go and create a purchase order from a job and look at a couple of ways we can work with that, returning in a short while to have a look at purchase orders and one or two other settings we have available. So let's jump straight back to the dispatch board, and we're going to go and start off by opening up a job and looking at how we'd go and order parts for this particular job using the purchase order generator. So we open up the job card. We first go and select our add-ons drop down, find the purchase order generator and select it. And what we'll notice is that we have two items that are sitting within our quotes and invoice tab already created in the job, and that is the gas oven and some gas pipe fittings in this example. Now we want to go ahead and order those, and we're going to order those through two separate suppliers. So in this example, we're going to go and select for the oven first. We're going to go to ABC Appliances. We're going to go and put a tick in the box for the gas oven, and we are going to go and select a fulfillment date. We're going to say let's fulfill it today, and we also have the option to add a delivery address, an alternative delivery address, and any other notes we wish to add to this purchase order. For now, we're going to leave those blank, and we're going to enter our green button over here to generate that purchase order. So what that will do is we'll take the supplier information that we've entered, and it will take the items that we need as well as item codes and generate the purchase order. So here you can see the purchase order has been generated. We just need to close the job as always, reopen it to make sure we've got the freshest data. And what we'll notice over here is that we now have a purchase order for that particular appliance with the information that we have captured about that particular supplier. At this point, we can go ahead and click email and email that off to the supplier should we wish. Right, we're also going to go and have a look at if we wanted to go and add another purchase order for that other parts and fittings. We go ahead through the same process again, and we'll go and select, this time we're going to go and select hardware and parts. This is our new supplier, and we need to get our gas pipe fittings from them. So we go and put a tick in that box now, and we go through the similar process, and we are going to go and generate that purchase order. What you'll notice when we return back to the purchase order generator, we're just going to close that for a moment and return back to it over here very quickly. You'll see that we have both the purchase orders that we have generated for each supplier, one for the appliance and one for the parts that we required. And if we go ahead and as before, close that job, just reopen it to make sure that the information is correct. Here you can see that we have those two purchase order agreements for that particular job that is ready to be emailed out to the customer. So very straightforward, very easy way to go and generate purchase orders with the ability again to add more items into that purchase order or to adjust the quantity should you require to do so. So you can adjust the quantities, you can select the items, just to recap, that you would like to add to a purchase order, and then generate that purchase order. If we scroll down to the bottom, we can also see we can manually mark off, and we're going to go and look at the settings where we can automate this if we've emailed that purchase order to the customer. And then again, very usefully, if those parts have been supplied to us, we can mark that we have received those. Right, so we're going to put a tick in that box, and we're going to put a tick that we have emailed these two and received those goods as well. So we can go ahead and close this down now, and now we're going to go and look at the add-on, the purchase order add-on settings, and a couple of reports that we get from that as well. So just to go in and have a look at, again, we've got our suppliers. I'm just going to open up one of the suppliers so we can look into that in further detail. We add the supplier's name, telephone number, their address, email address, and as well as their physical address. And under settings, as I mentioned before, we do have the option to auto email purchase order to that supplier. So by simply putting a tick in this box, we will automatically generate and email the purchase order to that supplier, saving a step in that process. We also have the option to BCC a particular email address so that you can see when these emails or purchase orders have been generated and sent to your suppliers. In the middle between suppliers and settings, we have the purchase orders that we have generated. And if we go over here, we have a report of all of the purchase orders that we've generated from all of the various jobs. And this is also really useful for you to go and add a delivery reference if the case is needed, as well as the delivery date. It's a very quick way to go and reference when this information has been recorded on the job card. So you can see here that we marked both of those jobs from, both those purchase orders at least, from job number 34 as received. So we can see that that's already been detailed. And if we need to update with any additional information, we can do so here. And then of course we can always download a copy of the purchase order for us to review. We also have the ability to go and search any purchase order. So if there's any questions around that or a supplier queries a number, simply type in the purchase order number, which will be saved on the job card that's related, and you can generate, it will research at least the database and return that purchase order. We also have the option over here to generate a new purchase order. So you can generate a purchase order outside of a job. So this is useful for when you want to generate or add stock to perhaps the warehouse and it's not related necessarily to a job. You can go through the same process, generate a purchase order, and this time you can add new materials that aren't necessarily in your materials and services list, and this will update materials and services within ServiceM8 itself. So again, a very useful way to get purchase orders to your suppliers in a quick, efficient way, and maintaining all of that information within the job card. So we're sure you'll like that one. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact our support team.